Okay, this has to do with the coming of Niberu. There's lots of evidence outside of the news that it's fact and not fiction. And what do you do? There's, I think, soon that we're going to know the time when to leave the cities. And as you see, the economy is being shaken. This is the time to take your finances out and get ready to relocate. And you that have businesses out there, you know, the things like building supplies and wood, concrete, steel, all this kind of stuff, machinery, it's all going to be needed. When I was 40, I went down to the States for a while to Missouri, and I met the sister who started seeing a lot of visions about my life in the future. And now looking back, I know that you know what you're being prepared for, being trained for. Sometimes you go through a whole life, 20 years worth of training that will take maybe just a couple of years to fulfill. That's been my life. And anyway, she was in the spirit, and she was taken to this city that's going to be built. It's going to become the prototype refuge center, place of refuge, light center, main headquarters, whatever you want to call it, for the tribe of Judah. And there's many out there who have been scattered by the dispersion. God knows who is who by the bloodline. One thing is guaranteed: this city of God is going to be off limits to the Dracos. They won't even think about trying to shape shift and sneak in, because get their hindquarters burnt up. Can't stand the light. I know when I was talking to LT, he worked in Area 51. We became good friends a few months back, and he's since disappeared. He told me about meeting these reptoids. And it's one thing that they're scared of, and they scatter like cockroaches when you mention the blood of the Lamb and the power that's in the blood. They can't stand it. You just let out this horrendous squeal, and they're gone. It hurts them because they know that there is power. Anyway, her name is Judith, and she was taken to this place in the Carolinas. Don't know where it's at. It's going to be a high spot, a large area. And in it, she saw a building like the dome type of buildings you would see in Israel, the ancient kind. And stamped into the dome of the building was the Lion of the tribe of Judah. And the dome was made layered with gold, real gold, not just gold paint. So the resources are going to be there. And she saw me there with other people. The temple was actually the first building to be completed. And I believe that the time's getting soon for all the factors to come together. And in preliminary visions, she saw us in a like a white Civil War mansion, and there was like two main rooms, and I was sitting in one room with all these Jewish financiers, all these Jewish people, and she was actually in the other room sitting with Arabs. if you can believe it or not. So there's going to be a coming together of the Jewish people and the Arabs. And we're all one in the Lord. And not the nations, but there's going to be individuals, because this city of God is going to be open for all people. It's going to be the coat of many colors, right? Anyway, this is the place that she's talking about in this short prophecy, dated May 10th, 1993. In the spirit, I saw a construction site. You were standing by a pickup truck. Behind it was a camper trailer. There were familiar people milling around. Then I saw you in an airplane traveling somewhere. You had the blueprints in your hand that you showed me. I saw you then standing before a group of people. You were ministering the end times and the destruction that was coming. And then I saw you unrolling the plans and explaining them to men seated around a table. Then I saw you back on a plane. I saw John Marshall pick you up, and you were both back at the construction site where I saw you and familiar faces. Then I saw you packing the camper and leaving. And the camper in the truck was then sitting by another site with the men I saw you talking to around the table with the blueprints. This vision seemed to repeat itself, only you were in different places of the world. Same circumstances, flying, returning, and going back in truck and camper to a construction site. And I believe that this is going to happen in the spring, and that the finances are being shaken now, because there's going to be a transfer of wealth from the world to the righteous, just like there was in the time of Pharaoh when God raised up Moses and delivered his people out of Egypt. And that God is raising up a spiritual people in this hour, the people that are going to go forth into eternity. And for the ones here, just like Bill Deagle was saying, if you can only realize who you are, that you are a spiritual being. And those who graduate from the earth here will become the gardeners of the universe, not just floating around on a cloud somewhere in heaven. There's going to be work to be done. Maybe create new worlds, populate new galaxies, things like this. It goes way beyond Star Trek. This would be something that Q would be interested in. Well, that's the call of the earth, is to bring forth a race of these super beings that they're going to co-create with the Most High God. And it's time. A separation is coming. Niberu is coming. And time is short. By the time spring comes of 2009, there's only 3.5 years that remain. Action needs to be taken. Because when the martial law goes down a second time on America, it's going to be permanent. You won't get out from it the second time. And there is a 90-day crisis coming on the land shortly. And you need to prepare for it now. It won't be permanent, it'll be temporary. It'll be 90 to 100 days. So you need to be ready. So the Lord is shaking all that can be shaken to prepare a people to leave out from the coastal cities and other cities to relocate into these places of refuge. That's it.